What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today I'm thinking about inspiration and street photography, right? I've been photographing for a decade now. How am I still inspired? Why am I still inspired to practice street photography? You see, I view the street as this canvas, as this stage, you know, where the street becomes this theater of this unpredictable, spontaneous sort of show that I get to watch and participate in each and every day. I really find that the street is where life is, right? You find yourself lost in the detail, where everything and anything becomes photographable, and everything truly becomes magical, where I find inspiration in the flight of pigeons, right? I love observing them in flight, sort of practicing my anticipation, right? When I look at the pigeons in flight, I can often predict where they will fly and how they will fly, and position myself in my camera to make a photograph of them in flight. And you know, I really do think that inspiration is simple, right? I think that to detach yourself from any sort of basic, you know, photo books, contests, you know, notions of what makes a good photo, YouTube, like anything that's like external, and for you to find yourself immersed in life. So like, I believe actually the point of this is to get closer to life, right? To actually just position yourself on the front lines of life, I think is where the photographer thrives, right? And so to stay inspired, you simply want to do one thing, right? You want to move your physical body, your two legs, and get outside. I think it's kind of a simple thing, really. You know, when it comes to inspiration, you either have it or you don't. Maybe it's something that you have within you, and it's something you have to tap into, right? It's that curiosity, you know, where that ultimately is the goal, right? It's just to remain curious at the end of the day. Where the photographs, it's a byproduct of your experience, you know. I'm not really too caught up in the result itself, but actually to enjoy the journey, to enjoy the day, to enjoy the moments that are fleeting. You know, maybe through time spent you'll find something, but I wouldn't go out there expecting anything. And so to practically remain inspired, I say to go out there that way without any preconceived notions, right? Where you set your body in motion without any preconceived notions. You know, you'll be surprised at what you will find. It'll just take you some time, you know, whether you find something today, tomorrow, or next year, you know, for it is an endless journey. And photography being this infinite medium, right, where you cannot make the same photograph twice. You know, that thought alone inspires me, you know, the ebbs and the flows of each and every day, and how change occurs over time, you know, whether it's within myself or the external world around me. You know, there's always something out there for you to see. You just have to move your physical body. And so honestly, to remain inspired to practice street photography, you must be curious about life itself, you know, where I'm waking up before the sunrise. I'm waking up and I'm watching the sunrise, and I'm curious and eager to go out there and explore like I'm a kid again, you know, where the street, it's my playground, you know. I'm just a big kid carrying my camera around, snapshotting my way through life, and ultimately that's what it's all about. It's about embracing curiosity, being out there in the world. It's not about the photographs, right? I think we get too caught up in the photography side of photography, which is kind of funny. Like, I genuinely believe that photography has nothing to do with photography. You know, I believe that photography has everything to do with you and your curiosity. You know, I'm waking up in the mornings with my eyes wide open, you know, and I'm just wondering, and it's like, you can go out there and embrace this mundane city and see it as boring, see it as banal, or it can be the most incredible experience of your life. And I think in order to practically remain inspired in this way, you must increase your vitality, you must increase your lust for life, you must increase your physical power, you know, to walk through the streets with power, with strength, frankly. You know, that is where you should be. And through that abundant state, you can create endlessly. So yeah, I really believe that inspiration is simple. It's the movement of your body. It's finding inspiration in the mundane, enjoying each and every day, detaching yourself from the outcome, and then setting yourself up in a way that you can photograph endlessly and just sort of snapshot your way through life, where the camera is small enough to fit in your pocket. You know, use whatever you got, but honestly, the Ricoh or any compact camera is probably the best solution. Photographing using digital technology just simplifies things and makes the workflow much more efficient. So like in terms of practical suggestions, yeah, just having something that's always with you, you know, the basic stuff. But honestly, detaching yourself from social media, don't look at the Instagrams, don't look at the YouTubes, you know, don't look at me, whatever. Like seriously, like just go out there and practice and you will find something. It's just a matter of time. It just takes you, your camera and your two legs, and just moving through life, and yeah, the unknown will deliver to you. You just have to go slow, right? So forget everything you think you know. Don't really, you know, go out there hoping for anything. You know, expect nothing, and maybe you'll be gifted something. And yeah, with that mindset, I think that you will thrive and remain inspired. It certainly helps me, so maybe it will help you. You know, I'm inspired by these great tunnels in City Hall and beautiful architecture and nature and pigeons and very simple things that have nothing to do with photography, but to just be out there in the open world, recognizing that this world is open to explore. You know, I think that should be enough for you to head out your door and to remain inspired to adore all the beautiful things that are out there. You know, it's really just about, for me, being in the moment, realizing that street photography, it really, honestly, it almost has nothing to do with the pictures. It becomes this meditative practice where, you know, you recognize the patterns in nature, human behavior, you study light, you become this sort of painter that uses light and draws upon the world with these sort of instant sketches. They become these realistic depictions or an abstraction there of your world. You create a universe, you create a world through the medium, where that is really, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful things of photography. It's the fact that you abstract the world, you make something of your own through your everyday experiences, no matter where you may be. You know, it really does not matter, for it really comes down to how you see and how curious you can be. You know, how curious can you be? How courageous will you become? You know, these are the questions to ask yourself, rather than whether or not you made a good or bad photograph. I believe that strong work and good photographs are a byproduct of your courage and fearlessness and throwing yourself onto the front lines of life. So to stay inspired, forget everything you think you know, detach yourself from the outcome, go slow, stop hunting, stop looking for the next picture. Your next or stop looking for a better picture. Your next picture is your best picture, right? With this mindset, where every day is anew, and every day you photograph, it is merely a stream of becoming, for you are learning through each press of the shutter. And to quite literally set your camera up in a way where all you have to do is literally press a shutter. This is something so critical for me, where now I no longer have to consider, you know, technicalities or camera gear or settings and all of these external things that get in the way, but I merely point and shoot and embrace this sort of spirit of play where I click a button, and that's really it. I sort of just throw the camera around, see the town, and ultimately photography keeps you inspired to live life, and is something that you can use to turn your frown upside down. You know, maybe at the end of the day, it's more of this meditative practice. It really is, it's not that serious. It's like, it's just this thing that you either are inspired to do or you're not. And if you are, maybe you're like me and you understand, you know, we thrive in the chaos. And then it's fun. You can isolate subjects, you know, amongst the chaos, and, you know, observe those quiet moments, and perhaps what you exclude from your frames is just as important as what you include from your frames. So when it comes to composition, I say recognize that composition is merely intuition, and it's your physical body once more. you know, returning to the notion of motivation and inspiration merely being something that derives in your body through your legs. Similarly to composition, you're moving your body, you're positioning yourself, and you're pressing the button at that decisive moment. And for me, that's where these compositions are made. It's through the movement of your body and positioning yourself out there on the front lines of life. So yeah, I think street photography, it's a great way to embrace the everyday life. I say just snapshot your way through it, photograph your personal experiences wherever you may be, and recognize that street photography is merely an ethos. There's no rules, there's no guidelines. So maybe that's another good thought to have. So yeah, create your own game to play, and from there you will remain inspired endlessly, I believe. Hopefully you'll find some interesting moments along the way, but if not, once again, honestly, it's just a matter of time.